Welcome to this video on daily use correct English sentences. Many of you want to know how to correct your English. The best way would be that you listen to good English and you read good English. Then you don't need to learn the rules of grammar. But the second is that if you don't have people who speak to you in English, or you don't have the habit of reading extensively, then you need to learn the rules of grammar. Here I have given you many sentences which are used daily, but they are used wrongly. And I have also given you the correct form of that sentence. I have also told you how the correction is to be, the mistake is to be found, and what correction we are making. I've given a detailed explanation for each of the sentences also, after you have seen the wrong and the correct sentences in the slide. There are two reasons why you might make mistakes. One is that you have learned English in a manner which is faulty. That is more difficult to correct. Already we know the English usage which is not correct. We need to change that, and that is difficult. So, for beginners, I would recommend that you start by learning correct English, good English. Don't go by those models which are faulty. The second problem is that very often we translate from our mother tongue. And there the problem comes because many structures which are there in your mother tongue might not be correct when you translate them into English. So you need to get rid of that habit also if you want to speak correct English. By seeing these few sentences, you will begin to realize where mistakes are made and what kind of mistakes you can stop making by correcting the mistakes yourself. I would like you to do that. That is why this video is very important for all of you. Please watch fully so that you get all the sentences and their corrections. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Comment, share, and like the videos. Look at the list of videos available and watch whatever you think is relevant to your learning of the language. Let us now go on to the sentences. Childrens are playing is not correct. The correct form is children are playing. My grandmother house is in village. This is not correct. The correct form is my grandmother's house is in the village. My father gifted a dress my sister. This is not correct. My father gifted my sister a dress. That is the correct one. In these sentences which you saw just now, the mistakes are in the use of nouns. If you want to know more about nouns, there are videos already on that. Please check the playlist and please check the podcast on grammar. Also check individual videos list. The first one which you saw where children's are used. Please remember the singular form is child and the plural form is children. So we don't use the form children's for plural. The only place where children's can be used is where you put an apostrophe. Apostrophe is a comma on top of the line, children apostrophe s. That means something which belongs to the children. So you can say children's toys. So children are playing. Now, children, if you say, then it's a plural and therefore we use are playing. We say a child is playing or children are playing. We don't say children's are playing. There the mistake is. Suppose you can say They are playing with children's toys. Then it is correct. These are children's books. This is a children's playground. In every point, there is a noun after children, and the word is children apostrophe S. That is what we call as the possessive. Therefore, that is the mistake you have here. The next sentence was my grandmother house. Now, here, exactly the same mistake what I told you just now about children's apostrophe S. That is what is required here. Grandmother is a noun, house is a noun. We cannot have two nouns side by side unless they are a compound noun. So we have grandmother's house, grandmother apostrophe S. That means house belonging to the grandmother. Then we have to also put in village, we don't say. When there is a singular noun, which is a common noun, we always require an article. So you can say, my grandmother's house is in the village. If it is in any village, since it is your grandmother, that is why you say the village. You say, this lady's house is in a village. You don't know the lady. So you say, this lady's house, Lady apostrophe S, not Ladies, is in a village. A village there, because you don't know which village. So article direct and indirect, that is how it is used. Somebody gave a comment, I am beginner. Now, that is not correct. You say, I am a beginner. Beginner is a common noun and it is a singular noun. It requires an article. Since here it is indefinite, we say a beginner. I am a beginner. Then you can also say, the beginner started learning English. There you have already used a once, so that same beginner, it is a definite article. Then you have the next sentence in the first slide, which I showed you. My father gifted a dress, my sister. Now, when you have a word which requires two objects, like gift, gift is a verb here which requires two objects. The human object always comes first. So we say, my father gifted my sister a dress. A dress is an object. My sister is the human noun. So the human noun always comes first. So, or you say, my father gifted me a book. So a book is object, me is the human factor. This is how we learn how to correct the sentences. You must keep this in mind when you are looking at the correct sentences. Because if you understand what is corrected, you will be in a much better position to correct your own sentences. That is my aim, that I need not correct your sentences all the time. When you write something, you must aim for correctness. When you speak, you must aim for correct English. Yours way of speaking good. This is not correct. The correct form is your way of speaking is good. This is very easy to understand me. That is not correct. The correct form is this is very easy for me to understand. Is there an English class to join us? This is not correct. The correct form is there an English class for us to join? Myself and my wife travel by train. This is not correct. The correct form is my wife and I travel by train. I didn't meet nobody is not correct. I didn't meet anybody. That is the correct form. You can also say, I met nobody. Instead of saying, I didn't meet anybody, You can say, I met nobody. The man who you wanted to meet is here. This is not correct. The correct form is, the man whom you wanted to meet is here. Now you have seen two slides. Here, as you could easily make, understand, the mistakes were in the pronoun. Pronoun mistakes are very, very common because people don't pay attention to pronouns at all. But you cannot do that. You have to be very careful because a mistake in a pronoun makes a huge difference in meaning. The first sentence which you saw, yours way of speaking, good. Now, here there are two mistakes. Yours we don't say. Yours is used exactly as I told you for children's. That is, yours is used for showing some kind of a relationship. At the end of a letter, we say yours sincerely, but we don't say yours way. Then we say your way of speaking is good. Here, verb is also not there. Your way of speaking is the entire subject. Speaking here is not a verb, it is a non finite form. So you say, your way of speaking is good. Then you had another sentence. This is very easy to understand me. Now, to understand me would mean that somebody is understanding you, but that is not the meaning you want. You want to say that I have understood. You want to say that the understanding has gone into your brain, not somebody else understanding you. So the meaning and the structure are all wrong. What you have to say is, this is very easy for me to understand. So what you did, you changed the position and you added a preposition also. This is very easy to understand. That you can say enough. Then you no need to say me. But in case you want to bring me, then the pronoun for the human factor comes first. And to understand also is the non-finite form. It goes later, because that form can be used both as an adjective and as a noun. I have explained this to you. Unless you know these rules, unless you know how they are used, the only way to learn is by listening and reading. But if you don't do a lot of listening and reading, the best way for you is to learn the rules. There are two ways of doing it. One is to learn the language naturally. Today I was speaking to somebody who said, we went to Germany and my son, who was a preschool child, learned German fluently. How did he learn? He didn't study Germany. He didn't study German. He only lived in Germany. And by listening to the language, he could speak the language fluently even before he went to school. Now the child has forgotten. That is what the mother said. Now the child has forgotten because the child has come away from the place where that language is spoken. So you can imagine how, by listening to correct language, we can learn correct English. We can learn fluent English. We can learn English without mistakes. But the moment you hear it wrong, the moment you don't hear anything, your mistakes keep continuing. So you have to remember that. Either learn the rules or listen constantly to correct English. Next sentence you had, is there an English class to join us? Again, same problem. Us is put in the wrong place. So you say, is there an English class for us to join? Like for me to understand, for us to join. The same pattern is used in both the sentences. You had also some more sentences where the problem was the pronoun. Myself and my wife travel by train. Now, myself is a very precious word. It is like a big coin, or a big note. We don't like to spend it. It is spent very rarely. But I find that everybody is using myself all the time. I asked somebody their name in a program. They got up and said, myself, so and so. I said, don't say myself. I asked you, what is your name? And you should say, my name is. Or I asked you, tell us your name. You say, my name is, or I am. Don't say myself. So, here similarly, myself can come in a sentence only when the word I is already there in the sentence. So, my wife and I travel by train. That is the correct form. You can say, I myself travel by train. That means you want to emphasize, I myself travel by train. So why can't you travel by train? Or you can say that I travel, you'd say that I teach myself. So I and myself, same person. Teach is the verb, it's like a mirror. So we say reflexive. The mirror shows the same thing. So I teach myself. That is how myself is used. In this sentence, you cannot say myself and my wife. Hundreds and thousands of people constantly use myself and my friend, myself and my colleague, myself and so and so. No, never myself in that context. It is my wife and I travel by train. Now, in the next sentence, I didn't meet nobody. Now, nobody, no one, anyone, anybody, all these are pronouns. Nobody is a negative pronoun. So, in a sentence, you cannot have two times negative. I didn't. Didn't is negative already. So, you cannot say nobody. You have to say, I didn't meet anybody. Or you can say, I met, you make it positive. And you say, I met nobody. The meaning is exactly the same, but you have changed two negatives into one negative. If didn't is negative, make the pronoun into positive, anybody. And if the verb is positive, met, then you can use the negative pronoun, nobody. Then you had the next one, the man who you wanted to meet. Here, you wanted to meet a man. So the man is the object of the sentence. The object pronoun is whom, not who. We cannot use who for object. We have to use whom. Again, you need to learn either the rule of pronouns or you need to listen to passages where all these usages come. Suppose you listen to good English for a few hours every day, 5 hours or 6 hours, good English. Then you don't need to learn a single grammar rule. The rules will become a part of your thinking because the rules will automatically come since you are listening to correct English and you will be able to use that correct language all the time. You won't have any problems at all. Eat your medicine is not correct. The correct form is take your medicine. I won't become teacher is not correct. The correct form is I want to become a teacher. I watching your video is not correct. The correct form is I have been watching your video. Also, I am watching your video is correct. Every festival, the city looking colorful. This is not correct. The correct form is the city looks colorful for every festival. Can I joining your team is not correct. The correct form is may I join your team. Excellent gifts have been sending by you. This is not correct. Excellent gifts have been sent by you. That is the correct form. You have sent excellent gifts. You can also say it that way. Instead of saying excellent gifts have been sent by you, you can say it, you have sent excellent gifts. The slides you saw just now had some mistakes in the use of the verb. So let us see quickly what these mistakes were. Eat your medicine is a direct translation from some of the mother tongue usage. So what we say in English is take your medicine, not eat, but take. Although we do eat it, but the correct verb is take. I won't become a teacher. Now, here you have a mistake in to become. We cannot say I won't become because want is the verb. The next verb has to be non finite. So we say to become. And of course, again, article is missing. So we say a teacher. Teacher is a singular common noun and therefore it requires an article. So want is the finite verb. To become is not a verb here. Here it is used as an adjective which we call as non-finite. Now, I watching your video. I watching cannot be used. Ing verb requires helping verb. So you can say, I have been watching your video. Suppose the action began in the past and it is still continuing, it will go on up to the present and then you stop watching or you continue to watch, then, into the future. So past, present, future. Then you say, I have been watching. Suppose you are doing it now at this moment, then you can say, I am watching your video. Not I watching, but I have been helping verb or I am. All these structures of the verbs and their usages I have already given to you, so you can easily look at those videos also. Next, we have every festival, the city looks colorful. So you can say, the city looks colorful for every festival. Now, here again, preposition is required, but the city looking colorful, we don't say. Every festival, the city looking colorful. So here, ing form is just not correct because we cannot say is looking, has been looking, had looked. All these forms we cannot use. So since it always does, for a habitual action, we use a simple present tense. So we say the city looks colorful for every festival. You can also turn it like that by saying for every festival, the city looks colorful. Then, can I joining your team? Again, joining cannot be used. Ing form we don't have. Whenever we use a modal auxiliary, the verb form is the present. And can is you are asking capability, but here you're seeking permission. So a better verb is may. So may I join your team? That is the form which you can use. Then excellent gifts have been sending by you. Here the passive form. So we are not using have been sending form in a passive. Passive has only one form of the verb, and that is past participle. So the past participle of sending is sent, S-E-N-T. So you say past tense, past participle are the same. So you can retain the sentence in passive form. I have given you a video on active and passive. Excellent gifts have been sent, have been sent. That is the form of the verb by you. Or you have sent excellent gifts. You make it into an active sentence. You have sent. Here you are using again have sent past participle form, perfect tense, excellent gifts. That also is a correct form of the sentence. So we can have two correct forms which you can use. You must speak, my friends. This is not correct. The correct form is you must speak to my friends. Please listen the lecture careful is not correct. Please listen to the lecture carefully. That's the correct form. I have lot confidence. That is not correct. I have a lot of confidence. That is the correct form. She walked in the room. That is not correct. She walked into the room. That is the correct form. He was hurt with your anger. That is not correct. He was hurt by your anger. That is the correct form. The bridge is in the river. That's not correct. The bridge is over the river. That is the correct form. The last two slides you saw have mistakes in preposition. So let us see how they are. You must speak, my friends. Here we require preposition to. You must speak. Speak is a verb which cannot take a noun. So we require the gum of preposition. Preposition is like glue. It can stick a noun. So the noun, my friends, is being put with the help of to. Please listen the lecture. Again, same problem. Listen cannot take the noun immediately. So we say, listen to the lecture. And then the word careful cannot be used here because that is an adjective. The adverb form is required here. Listen carefully. Because listen is a verb, adverb qualifies a verb, an adjective qualifies a noun. Therefore, we require carefully. I have lot confidence. Then you have to say, I have a lot of confidence. A lot of course, is a informal word, but we use it. A lot, that is required, and of confidence. So the preposition of is needed. Then you have the sentence, she walked in the room. When you enter, when you change positions, then the preposition is into. It is not in, because in means already steady in one position. You say that I am in the room already. But if you walk from outside and come inside the room, then the preposition is into. Suppose there is water in a glass and you pour the water into a sink. Then you say, I pour the water into the sink. This into is a verb which shows change of position, not a steady position, but a change of position. So we say she walked into the room. He was hurt with your anger. Now, he was hurt here is a passive sentence. So, a passive sentence always takes preposition by. So, we say, he was hurt by your anger. Then you have, the bridge is in the river. Now, the bridge cannot be in the river. It has to be over the river. If the bridge is in the river, then nobody can use it because in means inside the water. So we have to say the bridge is over the river. That is what we need to say. In this way, prepositions are very important for us to understand. Unless we know what is the work the preposition is doing, we will not be able to use the correct preposition. Suppose you say the book is above the table. That is not possible. The book cannot float. Then we say the book is on the table because it is touching the surface of the table. If it is above, then we say there are some clouds above the city today. That means they are far away, they are floating. Then that can be used as above. Positions are very important. We need to learn. There are many other kinds of prepositions also which follow a noun or a verb or an adjective which goes in front of it. Then we learn all this. Like I've been telling you throughout, please learn English by listening to the correct models. If you listen to correct English all the time, all your waking hours, you're listening to correct English, then you will find within a few weeks, all your mistakes are corrected by themselves. You will not make mistakes again. The problem comes when we do not have any good sources to listen to. We do not have people around us who speak English all the time. Therefore, whoever speaks, even if they speak wrongly, we adapt those models. We take those. Or we don't listen or read, we keep translating from our mother tongue, learning a few words in English. These are all not correct ways of learning. That is why today, in this video, I showed you some of the mistakes which you might make and how to correct them. And I have also told you again and again that how you can improve your own English, how on a daily basis, simple sentences, you try to make, construct correct sentences. That way, your English will improve immensely. All the best and thank you.